What up, internet? This is JBunny. Just had a long day of work. It is 11:46 and I just got home. But I have music on my mind. What does it take to succeed in music, in entertainment? W- to me, it seems like knowing your lane, what angle and what your audience is important. Like age group, gender, culture, I guess. What commercial applications does your music have? What can it do for people? Is it inspiring? Is it what kind of community does it bring together? Because I guess if you think about where the money's at, it's in commercials, it's in festivals, and it's in merch and nostalgia, right? So where do you see yourself? Where do you see people listening to your music on the grandest scale? I think that's a good place to start. Me personally, growing up on rock and roll and punk, I have always been kind of like of the rebellious mindset of, I never want to commercialize my music so much and think in that manner, because commercializing music takes away from that rawness that people fall in love with. That's why a lot of bands, their good stuff is in their early days, before the commercialism got to them and the check or their image became more important, I guess. I can't speak for all the factors that come with fame and success, but that tends to be the case, I think. If you're a small artist and then you become, big, and then you have a lot to lose, it's the easier thing to do, much easier, much safer to release stuff that is not risky, way more commercially viable. But I think the beauty of the raw stuff that people fall in love with is all those non-commercial decisions, all those those decisions to make the raw cuts, the uncensored stuff, the ones where you're talking about real personal stuff. It's not too edited. Maybe the mix is just some demo stuff or something, but it captures that energy way better. And so I guess that appeals to your true diehard fans. But I digress. I was saying that I grew up on punk and rock, and so if I think personally for my music, I always hesitated to edit my vision to keep commercialism in mind, basically. To ask myself, where do I see this actually being played at? And how is that going to make money? It's a good question. And I think for a long time, I just couldn't answer that. And as I ask myself kind of on camera right now, I see my music going down in history. And before you say, look, that I'm having an ego about this, I'm talking about stuff that is an image in my mind, that is my inspiration, my dream. My dream is I see my music going down in history, being considered a classic, being considered culturally important and cherished by the generations. And I think one of the keys to that is, I think there's two. One of them is being original and iconic. That, and unfortunately, people's styles get stolen and interpreted, I guess, for better or worse. But, anyways, the second one that I was thinking is, having that vision and intention in mind when you're writing. You know, so many times, so many songs I've made that are just, I don't know what application. I wasn't thinking ever that people 10 years from now would be playing this, or you'd hear it in a song or a movie and people would be like, oh, it's that song from that movie. I didn't think that way. And I think I'm realizing nowadays that that's important. I think for a while I was inspired by by this punk attitude to try to make music that was so underground that it's only like, since it only appeals to like, I guess me, that's how that could be my angle. But I think if you're going for that, even still, like, you gotta keep practical application in mind. I mean, last music on my mind, it was talking about speed, right? How fast you need to be to work in music, right? It's the same thing with, your career, right? I think your career you have got to build momentum, and you got to do it in a practical way. And I think nowadays I'm realizing, it's like, what do I have to show for my effort? I have knowledge. I have a lot of knowledge and some really great connections to some talented people. But I'm working on what I can show. And I think music on my mind is just a way to kind of talk out my attempts and my mindset on approaching this thing. Anyways, I wanted to say, for myself, JBunny, through experimentation, through trials, I'm realizing that I want my music to be celebrated by children through adults, and therefore I should not make music that is vulgar, lyrically, I guess. And instead, I can express those feelings through production and through the lyrics in not using profanity, if that makes sense. Like, I in my opinion, a talented artist will make you feel exactly what he wants you to, and he can do it, and they can do it without spelling it out, is the point I'm trying to make. So, in other words, in my opinion, I'm maturing in my journey, coming from a spot of being punk and like, I want to be a legit musician and I just want the rawness, to refining that and through a practical lens and being realistic with myself. What do I want? Do I want to be an underground hero, or do I want to be more like Michael Jackson, for example, or like his career, his success, his body of work. What I'm trying to say is, like, I want to make classics, and I can still do that and make money and be commercially successful, and still have that rawness. I think you can still be just as good if you're mindful about it, and if you, as an artist, don't limit yourself by this idea of making things commercial. Sure, that means you can't necessarily say certain things in certain ways, but you can say those same things in other ways. You can make the listener feel that even more a lot of the times just by certain musical decisions. So, anyways, it's getting a little late. Although I am probably going to just watch The Sopranos, rewatch it. Anyways, I won't. This is a music on my mind. I just wanted to let you guys know what has been on my mind and inform you that moving forward, I myself am keeping a commercial aspect in mind. Because I myself, if my goal, is to appeal to an audience, and be family friendly, for example, rather than appealing to just people in their young 20s, for example, or people, or old people that only care about traditional music, or just kids. That's never really been me. But a family friendly thing with still maintaining the rawness of like what and the messages that I hold dear and I'm inspired by. I think that's the people I'd like to affect with my music. Because, growing up, I guess I myself started music listening to more family-friendly artists, more commercial artists, right? Everyone starts with the commercial, the biggest hits, right? Those are the greats that inspired me to even dig into more and more music. So, anyways, that's on my mind. Thank you guys again for sticking with me today. It's Saturday. Just turned Saturday, 12 midnight. So, I'll catch you on the next one. Also, I'm going to start doing music reviews of people, of great people. And if you have something that you want me to review, go ahead and tell me, because I'd love to analyze it. I have so much on my mind already, and I still can't get enough. There are so many music pieces where I could press pause moment by moment, boop, 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 and explain to you why that shit hits and why that's a good idea. And it's in my mind. And yeah, I got a lot to talk about, but thanks again for watching. It's JBunny. See you on the next one.